It was a crisp autumn morning in downtown Seattle, and the cafe buzzed with its usual rhythm of coffee grinders, murmured conversations, and the occasional clatter of plates. Clara, a waitress in her late 20s, moved through the crowd with practiced ease, her warm smile disguising the weariness in her eyes. A lover of books and stories, Clara had long dreamed of opening a community library, but life had other plans. Between caring for her younger brother and juggling long shifts, her dream seemed farther away with each passing day. As the morning rush began to wane, a man entered the cafe, his presence understated yet commanding. Clara noticed him immediately. His face was familiar, almost iconic. It was Bill Gates, dressed in a casual sweater and jeans, carrying a tablet under his arm. He chose a corner table, blending in with the regular crowd. Clara, though momentarily startled, approached him with her usual professionalism. "Good morning. What can I get for you today?" she asked, her smile unwavering. Gates looked up, his kind eyes meeting hers. "Just a black coffee, please." As Clara prepared his order, she couldn't help but think about the man's legacy. The tech mogul, the philanthropist. When she brought the coffee to his table, he thanked her warmly and struck up a conversation. To her surprise, he asked about the book-lined wall in the cafe, which led her to share her passion for literature and her dream of opening a library. The conversation flowed effortlessly. Clara spoke of her childhood, where books were her escape and her inspiration. She shared how she wanted to create a space where kids like her could find solace in stories. But the financial burden of her responsibilities left her dream perpetually out of reach. Gates listened intently, occasionally nodding or asking thoughtful questions. As the cafe began to fill again, Clara excused herself to attend to other tables. When she returned to Gates's table to clear his cup, she noticed a folded piece of paper tucked under the plate, along with a tip. Curious, she opened it and found a handwritten note. "Dreams are the seeds of change. Here's a little help to plant yours, Bill." Attached to the note was a check, an amount so generous it made her knees weak. Clara's hands trembled as she reread the note. She rushed to the kitchen, where her co-worker and closest friend, Mia, was brewing coffee. "Mia, you won't believe this," Clara whispered, holding up the check. Mia's jaw dropped. "Is this real?" "Clara, this could change everything." Overwhelmed, Clara took a moment to collect herself. She knew she couldn't let this opportunity go to waste. That evening, she sat at her small dining table, surrounded by notebooks and library plans she had sketched over the years. With renewed hope, she began researching locations, reaching out to community leaders, and drafting a proposal for her dream library. The following weeks were a whirlwind of activity. Clara found an old and used building in the heart of the neighborhood, a perfect spot for the library. With the funds from Gates and her own meticulous planning, she began renovations. Volunteers from the community pitched in, inspired by her vision and the incredible story of how it all started. When the library finally opened its doors, it was more than Clara had ever dreamed. The shelves were filled with donated books, and the cozy reading corners invited visitors to lose themselves in stories. At the grand opening, Clara addressed the crowd, her voice shaking with emotion as she recounted her journey and the unexpected act of kindness that made it all possible. To her surprise, Bill Gates himself attended the event. He stood quietly at the back, smiling as he watched Clara thrive. When she spotted him, she rushed over, tears in her eyes. "I don't know how to thank you," she said. "You already have," Gates replied, gesturing to the library bustling with activity. "This is your thank you." The library became a hub of learning and creativity, changing the lives of countless people in the neighborhood. For Clara, it was proof that even the wildest dreams could come true with a little help and a lot of determination. And for everyone who heard her story, it was a reminder of the power of kindness and the importance of paying it forward. Weeks passed after the grand opening, and Clara's library quickly became a community cornerstone. Children filled the space after school, their laughter echoing through the cozy corners as they discovered new worlds within the pages of books. The air was always filled with the buzz of excitement as parents brought their children in for reading sessions, and volunteers helped organize workshops and events. Clara spent every day in the library, watching her dream take shape in ways she had never imagined. She had never expected the overwhelming support of the community, nor the way her vision was embraced by people from all walks of life. Volunteers came from the local high school, eager to help organize book drives and reading hours. Local businesses donated money and supplies, inspired by the vision Clara had shared so passionately. As the library grew in popularity, Clara realized that she had to expand her efforts. She had always dreamed of offering free after-school programs to children from low-income families, many of whom had limited access to educational resources. With the success of the library, she started planning the next phase of her vision. One evening, as Clara was organizing a new reading initiative, she received a call that would change her plans once again. The local school district had heard about her success and wanted to partner with her library for an outreach program. Clara, overjoyed by the news, began drafting plans for workshops, tutoring sessions, and summer reading camps. This was the next step in making her library a vital resource for the entire community. Clara's nights were spent working on the library's expansion. The grant money she had received, combined with the generous contributions from Bill Gates and the community, allowed her to hire a few staff members to help manage the growing programs. There were moments of exhaustion, but every time Clara looked around at the children absorbed in their books or participating in the art and science workshops, she was reminded of the importance of what she had built. One afternoon, Clara received a letter that left her breathless. It was from Bill Gates. He had heard about the library's success and was inspired by how she had turned his donation into something far beyond what he had imagined. Gates expressed his admiration and offered to fund a scholarship program to provide free tuition for local children to attend college, all sponsored by the library. He was impressed not only by Clara's vision, but also by her ability to create lasting change in her community. Clara immediately called Mia to share the news. "He's done it again, Mia. He's giving us a scholarship program for the kids," she exclaimed. Mia, equally stunned, responded, "You've created something incredible, Clara. You've made your dream, and then some, a reality." The scholarship program was launched within months, and Clara watched as the children who had once walked into the library simply to read books now had the chance to dream bigger. They were encouraged to aim for higher education, with the resources and support needed to get there. Clara knew that this was just the beginning of a larger movement, one that would ripple through the community for years to come. As the months passed, the library's influence spread beyond the community. Clara was invited to speak at conferences, sharing her story of perseverance, community support, and the transformative power of kindness. She became a voice for change, advocating for libraries and education as fundamental pillars of a thriving society. She often reflected on the day Bill Gates walked into her cafe, unknowingly changing her life forever. That simple act of kindness had not only funded a dream, but had sparked a movement that was still growing, helping generations of children and families. As Clara continued to build her legacy, she made sure to pay forward the kindness that had been shown to her. She started mentoring young entrepreneurs in her community, teaching them the importance of giving back and helping others. The library had become not just a place for books, but a foundation for creating opportunities for those who needed them most. One rainy evening, after another long day of organizing programs and attending meetings, Clara sat down at her desk, reflecting on how far she had come. The library had transformed into a symbol of hope, education, and community strength. She thought back to the moment when she first held Bill Gates' check and how that small act had set everything into motion. Now, the dream that had seemed so distant was a living, breathing entity, shaping the future of countless children in the neighborhood. Clara knew that the story of her library would inspire others for years to come. And just as Bill Gates had once believed in her dream, she was now giving others the opportunity to believe in theirs.